Hi everyone, welcome back to TeacherFYI. If you're new here, I'm Mackenzie and I teach 5th grade in Northern California. So I started this channel to share all my tips and tricks since I will be teaching remotely this whole year, and I do hope it makes your life a little bit easier. If you do find this content helpful, please give this video a thumbs up to support this channel and consider subscribing so you can stay up to date with all my latest tips. For those of you who have been here before, you probably noticed that my background is different today. I have some really exciting news. We are in the process of moving to a larger space. I'm so excited because in our old apartment, we just had very little space. My classroom was taking over everything, and I would have to wait till my upstairs neighbors went to bed before I could start filming. Crazy times, but hearing how teachers are benefiting from these videos have really made it completely worth it. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing 8 Google Classroom tips. It is a new month, and for many of us, we have recently started a new trimester. I have used Google Classroom every year since I first started teaching, and this year with every single assignment needing to be digital, I just felt like classroom organization really needed to be revamped this year. A trimester in, and I feel like I finally have a system that helps me and my students stay more organized and not get lost amidst all of the classroom stream and classroom assignments. So I'm excited to share with you how I've been organizing Google Classroom, some other tips that I found really helpful, and how to add a little touch of fun with those Google Classroom banners. So let's get into it. My first tip is to use the stream only for teacher announcements. So I've turned the stream off for students to post their own announcements, but they can still comment on everything that I post. So every morning my students go onto Google Classroom many before we even start our Zoom call, and that is where they will read my morning message every day. I will have a link to their weekly agenda so they can preview that before the day even starts, and then that's also where they'll find their Jamboard check-in link that we use to start morning meeting every day. I wanted a place where they knew that that is where they will hear from me. If I have any urgent announcement I need to make, they can always check the Google Stream and they'll know that it won't get hidden underneath a lot of different assignments or posts from other students. And if for some reason I have my Zoom go down, they know that I would immediately post something in that Google Stream and they know that is where they will hear from me. In the afternoon, I might post one more announcement just to check in and have some closure with them for the day, and that way they can comment and use it as a more casual space to talk to each other in the comments. Students know they can be a little more casual to talk to each other and build community on our classroom posts, and they know that's where they're going to find all the most important announcements and messages from me. My second tip is to use the topics feature to keep that classwork organized. So you want your students to be able to find those assignments and find those links a lot more independently. So I just click add new topic, and I first add a topic of just my daily links. So these are links that my students need to access every single day. So that includes their Zoom link, and it includes their weekly agenda link and our class website. And those are links that I always keep at the very top of that classwork tab. Then you could add topics depending on the subject or by date. So I organize my topics by the week. So I'm going to include the dates into that topic title so that my students know exactly what week we're on. And then that's where they're going to find all the assignments that they need to do for that week. Then for every assignment that I put under that topic, I'm going to include the day of the week that they're supposed to do that assignment in the title of that assignment. So that way there's no excuse why they didn't know what day they were supposed to do what. And then I like to add a topic for their may do items, so free choice activities that they know where to find. You can make topics for a lot, but again, I like to keep things as simple as possible, so I always have my daily links, the week that we're on, and then their may do items. And then you can just click and drag the topics and assignments under each topic as you continue on throughout the month. My third tip is to use emojis. So these add a little bit of fun to your Google Classroom, but they also can be very helpful because they're super visual, and that's actually how I've been organizing my Google Classroom by subject within each topic. So if I have a math assignment, I'm going to use the same emoji to represent math, I'm going to use the same emoji to represent science, the same emoji to represent reading, so my students have that consistency and they can clearly see what assignments are for what subject. You could also use the emojis that are just little colored circles if you want to do more like a simple color coding. There's a lot of different ways you could go with emojis. It adds a little bit of fun, but it also helps with that organization and that visual part to help your students find things. So to add an emoji on a Mac, you just need to click with 2 fingers. It'll open up the emoji keyboard and then you can insert the emoji. There's a lot to choose from, so have fun with it. My fourth tip is a time saver, and that is to reuse old Google Classroom assignments. So even if they are assignments from old Google Classrooms that you had, you can still reuse those posts. So I've been using this for reading responses since I use the same template each week for my students to respond to. I just need to go up to our classwork, and where you would click Add Assignment, you're going to click Reuse Post. And then you can go in, find that old post, select it, and then it's already ready to go. This is such a good time saver because you don't need to remake something that you already created. My fifth tip is to use that schedule ahead feature. So I know right now it's hard to even get ahead of schedule. Even scheduling all of your morning announcements for the week ahead of time can save you a few minutes that you really need. So when you have the assignment open, you just go up to the top, and instead of clicking assign right away, you're going to open that up and click schedule. And then you can select the date and the time. I really like this feature because I can also schedule all the assignments for the time of my Zoom call so that it's not posted and then sometimes that causes too many questions and I haven't gone over it yet for my students. So I usually schedule it for the time of the Zoom call. That way when we're on our call and I show my students the assignment, it's the first time they're seeing it, I'm able to go over it with them together, and then I'm able to answer their questions right after. It's really helpful when you do have that time that you're able to plan a little bit ahead and you don't have to worry about remembering to click post or assign to your students. Tip number 6 is to assign group work. So on Google Classroom, you don't have to assign every single assignment to every single student. So if you have a group project coming up or you want to differentiate some of your assignments, then you can assign work to only a smaller group of students. One way that this has become really helpful is for my small group reading. I have different assignments that I want each of my reading groups to complete. So because of that, I'm able to assign that specific article just to that one group of students that I meet with on Mondays, and then my Tuesday group will have their own assignment, and then they only see the work that's been assigned to them. This is really helpful when you have maybe modified assignments for your students. You can use this for assignments and also for announcements. So you can send an announcement just to one student if you need to. Another way that this has become handy that's a little fun is I have my students always create a birthday card whenever it's somebody's birthday in my class, and we do that using Jamboard, and then I'm able to send it to all of my students except that birthday person so that they don't see the card before it's ready. This feature has been really helpful when assigning group work or alternative assignments or modified work, or even just sending an announcement to just one specific student that you need to communicate with. My 7th tip to make the most out of Google Classroom is to use the rubric feature to make your grading easier and save you a lot of time. I love this feature because you can grade multiple categories, you just assign a level, issue the points, you're adding comments, all just with one click when grading your students' assignments, which is just a huge time saver. I really like using rubrics so my students know exactly what to expect and how they'll be graded. So to do this, when typing an assignment in Google Classroom, just click that little plus rubric button on the bottom right, and now you're going to add the title of your assignment. You can give a description if you want to, the points, a level, and a brief description for each category. Now you're going to click the little plus sign and then add another level. You can add as many or as few levels as you need, and then you're just going to save it. This is awesome because it automatically attaches to their work, so when you open up the assignment that you're grading for them, the rubric pops up, you're able to select what level they are, they're immediately seeing that feedback from the rubric, and then they're assigned their points, and it's done. It's just automatically scored and saved for you. You can adjust the points if you need to for that student, but it's just so easy. You're just grading it with a rubric with one click. This has really been a total game changer when it has come to Google Classroom grading. I also really love to use the comment bank so that I can select comments that I've already made. And of course Moat, which is a great Chrome extension. I talk about that in my 7 Chrome extensions for teachers, and that's just a great way to give voice feedback to your students. My 8th way to get the most out of Google Classroom is to add a little bit of fun and decorate those classroom banners. So not being in the classroom to decorate my bulletin boards, I really have been taking advantage of switching up that classroom banner that my students see in Google Classroom. I like to change the banner every month, or if there's a special occasion, like if it's somebody's birthday, I'll make it say happy birthday to that person. This is just one way to add a little bit more fun to that Google Classroom. So there are 2 different ways that I like to make Google Classroom banners. You can use Google Slides, so you would just open up a new presentation and then change the dimensions to 1000 by 250 pixels. Now that you have the Google Classroom banner size, you can change the background, you can add images, and then you just need to download it as an image when you're all done, upload it to Google Classroom, and set that as a theme. theme. The other way that I really like to make banners is using Canva. So Canva is an online design website. There is a free educator account to use with your students. I have also been able to make Google Classroom banners there. So again, I'll change the dimensions to 1000 by 250 pixels. What's really fun about this is when I insert images and text, I can also animate it. So on Canva, you can add different effects. So I like to use the pop effect, and then all the images and text are going to pop, and then I download that as a GIF, and then I upload that, and it will upload that animation with it. So every time my students open up Google Classroom, then they'll actually see the images moving. I've really been enjoying making banners for different holidays, or if it's a student's birthday, or if you have just something really important that you want your students to remember, you can put that in the Google Classroom banner, and then that's the first thing they're going to see when they open up Google Classroom. I know we don't always have a lot of time, and decorating your classroom banner might be at the bottom of your list, but honestly, it's a little touch that my students have enjoyed, and I really enjoy making it, and so I hope that inspires you to add that little touch of fun to your Google Classroom too. And if that's the closest I'm going to get to decorating my classroom, I will take it. So that covers all of my tips that I have for Google Classroom. With a new trimester starting, I even started a brand new Google Classroom just because my last one just felt so cluttered. It had so many assignments and classwork, and now that that's where everything is being kept this year, I just felt like everyone deserved a fresh start, including my Google Classroom. So I hope you found that helpful. If you have any tips on how you've been setting up your Google Classroom, I would love to hear them. Please drop them in the comments below. They might help a lot of other teachers too. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I'll catch you next time. Bye everyone.